Welcome back to another video. This time I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. Now, last time I reviewed that knockoff Optimus Prime. This guy is a knockoff. He's a bootleg. I know some people won't consider him that because he's very high quality, but it's not an officially licensed figure, so yes, it is a bootleg. It is a knockoff. A very high quality one, but still a knockoff. This is probably my favorite character, Ratchet. I've rewatched a bunch of the Transformers movies, and I gotta say, Ratchet is probably my favorite out of all of them because he's like kind of like this voice of reason kind of character. He was definitely. I was watching someone talk about him, and they were saying that he's definitely a background character, and yeah, he is. I don't think he was ever intended to be a leader character. He's a support character. That's why he's an ambulance. And here's the robot mode, which looks absolutely incredible. You can see that H2 front end. I do have another Ratchet here. This guy, I got him for like $10 compared to this guy. This guy was a bit more pricey, but he is a knockoff oversized version. I really dig the look of him. I really like this whole chest section with the flared out fenders like that. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense because part of the hood is there. I don't think H2s work like that, but it is a robot mimicking an H2, so whatever, it's fine. He does have actual die-cast metal pieces I could feel in his feet, at least. And all over the vehicle, I think, or robot, whatever you want to call him. That head sculpt is just phenomenal. His head is very hard to move, though. His mouth does actually open. That just looks amazing. I got his head to light up. Oh! I don't know how to keep it on. I have to figure that out. I'm mostly interested to having him in his vehicle mode, but the robot mode is just incredible to look at. And of course, it's not just the robot mode that he comes with. He does come with some weapons. He's got his circular saw, which I guess, since he's a medical officer, he would have a saw blade for cutting off limbs, which he does do in one of the movies. And his gun, which does have a light up feature. Very nice. How do I shut that off? There we go. I don't know how to plug it into his hand just yet. I think it goes through that peg right there. Very interesting. Doesn't really look like any firearm. Resembling any real firearm. It doesn't really look like anything. But it's a nice design. Kind of gives me some Mega Man vibes for some reason. I guess because it goes over the arm. Pretty cool. I like the way he uses it in the movie. He kind of goes into like this really cool crouching position whenever he fires. I know Jobby the Hung would have a field day about this, but the back, I actually don't mind. I think it actually fits the character because the back would be a big backpack, and him being a medic class character makes sense that he would have something like that. I don't know. It doesn't bother me, but I know other people like Jobby the Hung would hate that. It doesn't bother me that much. I've been warming up to his Dark of the Moon look and Age of Extinction look, where he's white and green. I do prefer the yellow version, but I do like the white and green. It's more of a silvery green, but I mean silver and green, sorry. I'm just so excited I can't speak. Also, I have to mention the elephant in the room, his death. He dies, unfortunately, in Age of Extinction. He's the first one to go. And his death is really sad. I will give him this, though. He didn't give up his friends. So, at least there's that. He seemed like a good person. I liked him. So, Makes me upset that he dies, but whatever. At least I have a figure of him. Alright, so I will be back once I transform him. And, yeah. So, no exaggeration, 3 hours later, I started transforming him at 12. It is 3:30 now. Oh my god. That was a grueling process. Granted, I'm not overly familiar with transforming figures, so it's not even 100% the best, but holy shit, that was hard. I started watching someone on YouTube do it, and then I got lost halfway through. Whew. I'm sure if I was more into transforming figures and if I was more familiar with it, it would have been way easier. I'm sure anyone who has experience can do it, but I don't. I don't really transform my Transformers. If I like them in robot mode, I keep them in robot mode, but I wanted him in vehicle mode. Oh, that was a mistake, but it was worth it. But let's take a look at the vehicle mode. This is what I bought him for. He looks incredible. I already started putting stuff into the roof rack up there. Oh my god, he looks amazing. You can barely tell he was a freaking robot, except for some of the gaps right there, like that ugly one that I can't fix, I'm sorry. He looks absolutely incredible. It makes me sad that the H2 was never really an ambulance. It makes a great looking ambulance, and I'm sure it would have been a fine short ambulance if this back actually functioned, which on the real one, it did not, which makes sense. I know people are going to laugh at that and be like, oh, it didn't even open up, it was stupid, it was just a fake thing that they built. Look, making stuff for a movie is like making stuff for a video game. You only make stuff that the player is going to see. You only make stuff that the audience is going to see. They're never going to see the inside of Ratchet's back here. They're never going to see anyone go in there. So what's the point of having it built and have a fully functional ambulance back when you're not going to see it? Tinted out black windows, it works fine. You're never going to see it opened up in the movie, so yeah, makes sense to me. But I do have to say, the rear end looks amazing compared to the Voyager class, which I have right here, which is that. I'm making fun of it, but this is a cheap figure. I'm being too harsh. Scale comparison wise, the oversized figure next to the Voyager class, which I think the Voyager class is actually a little bit bigger than the Masterpiece figure. I could be wrong there, but I think that's the case. He looks incredible. Well, both of them look really good, as long as you're looking at this one from the front. And for the main reason I bought this figure, let's go ahead and get the Voyager class out of here, and let's bring in the Revell H2. Oh, what's that? They're in scale? Pretty much, actually. They're very, very, very close. Really close. That's really, really close. Almost 1-to-1. It looks like the figure is slightly off by like 2 centimeters, maybe. Oh, so, why do I have a Revell Hummer H2? It's not like I'm working with one of my friends to 3D print the whole ambulance back onto this one and all the accessories from that one and make a really realistic version of the vehicle mode. I definitely wouldn't be doing that. Okay, yeah, I am doing that. I want to make my own version of Ratchet, okay? I'm thinking either mine is going to be yellow like his. I won't have this stripe that goes down the side on mine because I don't have any decals that are like that. Remember, I'm working with vanilla stuff here. My friend is working on 3D printing this whole back end here, which is really, really cool. Someone actually did make files to 3D print those, which was really cool, but it was for a 1/32 scale die-cast Hummer H2, and he's been upscaling it, basically, and it's actually working out pretty good. It's just taking a while, because 3D printing stuff takes a long time. And I'm really, really excited for that. So I'm going to be converting this one into an H2 ambulance, And I might do, because I have these decals, instead of doing it just saying fire department on the side, I have decals that say FDNY, and you guys know I live in New York, so I could kind of do that. I think I might do that. Have mine say FDNY on the side of it. It'll still probably be yellow to be an homage to Ratchet. And I have a fetish for yellow Hummer H2s. In case you can't tell that I love them. I'm sorry for everyone who hates on the Hummer H2. I absolutely love it, and I will always love it, and I would be willing to trade my truck for one of them, even though it would be a blatant downgrade. I have a 2012 Hyundai Santa Fe. It's good on gas. It's easy to park. It drives really well, despite all its issues. It's a great truck. I would trade it for an H2, which would be a downgrade. This thing is huge, harder to park, worse on gas. Not as bad as people think on gas, actually. I think it got that reputation from the H1. But harder to park, much bulkier, probably doesn't ride as good. I would trade my truck for it. That's how much I love the H2. It was the coolest truck when I was growing up. I think this came out in 2004. I was pretty young at the time. I was born in 1996. So the H2 was the coolest truck. It was everywhere. Every celebrity had one. I love it, and I love seeing it utilitarian like this, with being a full-on badass ambulance. So cool. So yeah, there's people who like the Hummer H2, and there's people who are just wrong. I'm sorry, that's how I function. The decal on the side of it, or if that is a decal, I think it might actually be painted, looks pretty good. No Autobot logo on there for obvious legal reasons. This is a knockoff after all. If I had to nitpick, that stripe is a bit too small. It should go up to here-ish. But again, that's probably a leftover from the smaller version that they offer. But other than that, I would say this is pretty good. No, not pretty good. Really good. And the kibble is not the best in some areas. That little spot right there is where it bothers me the most, but it's not that distracting, to be honest. Maybe I'll weather up the tires. I don't know. You kind of have to touch things with Transformers, and if I ever want to transform him into vehicle mode again, maybe. No, I'm not going to transform him again. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Let me know what you guys think. This was worth the wait. It came from China, so it didn't take actually that long. It shipped on November 5th. It's currently November 11th, so it didn't take too long to get here. So, yeah. I'll see you guys next time.